The snow fell slowly from the dark sky. It covered the mountains in white silence, as if the world itself was holding its breath. High above the frozen land, a group of dragons stood still. They were massive, powerful creatures with scales like steel and eyes like fire. But today, there was no fire in them, only pain. They stood in a broken circle near a shattered nest carved into the ice. Pieces of cracked eggs lay scattered across the snow. Small claw marks ended suddenly, as if life itself had been cut short. The dragon pack was mourning. A deep, shaking sound rolled through the mountains. It was not a roar of anger. It was a cry of loss. The alpha dragon lowered his massive head. His wings dragged against the snow. His breath came out as slow clouds of steam, heavy and uneven. Their hatchlings were gone. Some had been killed. Some had been taken. The dragons did not understand human cruelty, but they had learned to fear it. For centuries, the dragons had stayed hidden in these frozen peaks. They believed the cold would protect their young. Humans feared the ice. Humans feared dragons. But greed was stronger than fear. The hunters came in metal ships. They used weapons that burned without fire and chains that hurt even dragon scales. The pack had fought back, but they were too late. The smallest lives were the easiest to steal. A young dragon mother pressed her head into the snow. A broken egg lay beneath her claws. She released a soft, broken sound, almost like a whisper. The wind carried away. Another dragon slammed his tail into the ice, cracking the ground. His rage had nowhere to go. Above them, the storm grew stronger. Snow covered blood. Snow covered pain. But it could not cover grief. Then, crunch. The sound was small. Wrong. The alpha dragon lifted his head slowly. His eyes narrowed. His body went still. Crunch, crunch. Footsteps. The dragons turned toward the sound, their bodies tense. Smoke curled from their nostrils. Wings spread just enough to show warning. Something was moving through the storm. Out of the white fog, a shape appeared. It was small. Too small. A human. The dragon's eyes burned with sudden fury. Humans were the reason the nest was empty. Humans were the reason the snow was stained with loss. A low growl rose from the pack. The air vibrated with danger. The human stumbled forward. He wore torn winter clothes, soaked and frozen. His face was pale. His hands shook from the cold. He should have run. Any human with sense would run. But he didn't. He walked closer, each step slow and painful. Snow reached his knees. The wind pushed against him like an invisible wall. The alpha dragon stepped forward. Each step shook the ground. His shadow covered the human completely. One breath of fire would end him. The human stopped. Slowly, carefully, he knelt in the snow. The dragons froze. Humans did not kneel before dragons. They screamed. They begged. They ran. This one did none of that. The human looked up, his eyes wide but steady. Fear was there, yes, but something else too. Determination. He pulled his coat tighter around his chest, as if protecting something precious. His arms did not shake as much now. The wind howled between them. The alpha dragon leaned closer. His hot breath melted the snow around the human's knees. The human winced but did not move. Inside the dragon's mind, anger burned like fire. Every instinct told him to destroy this creature. Yet something felt wrong. Why would a human come here alone? Why would he walk into the heart of a grieving dragon pack? Why was he holding something so tightly? The human swallowed and spoke. His voice was quiet, nearly lost in the storm. I didn't know where else to go. The words were simple, broken, honest. The dragons did not understand the language fully, but they understood tone. The human slowly opened his coat. The pack gasped as one. Inside, wrapped in torn cloth and held against human warmth, was a tiny dragon hatchling, alive, barely breathing. A soft, weak sound escaped the baby dragon's mouth. The world stopped. The storm seemed to fade. The snow froze in the air. The alpha dragon's eyes widened. A hatchling. Their hatchling. The human looked down at the small creature, then back up at the massive dragon above him. I found him in the snow, the human said softly. He was cold, alone. The dragons did not move. Grief turned into shock. Shock turned into something dangerous. Hope. But hope was fragile. One wrong move, one lie, and the human would die where he knelt. The alpha dragon raised his head. Fire gathered in his throat. The test was about to begin. The wind stopped. Not slowly. Not gently. It stopped as if the world itself was afraid to breathe. Snow hung in the air, frozen in motion. The storm that screamed across the mountains fell silent under the weight of dragon fury. The alpha dragon stood over the kneeling human. His massive head lowered until one burning, I filled the human's vision. That I had seen wars. It had seen worlds burn. It had seen hatchlings die. The human's heart pounded so hard it hurt, but he did not move. The tiny dragon hatchling inside his coat shifted weakly, letting out a soft cry. That sound shattered the silence. Every dragon flinched. It was the sound of life that should not exist here. The alpha dragon's claws dug into the ice. Cracks spread across the frozen ground like lightning. A low rumble rolled from his chest. Not a roar, a warning. The dragon pack tightened their circle. Wings spread wider. Heat built in the air. Snow melted where they stood, turning to steam. The human understood one truth clearly. He would not get a second chance. Slowly, carefully, he pulled the coat wider open. His movements were gentle, almost sacred. The hatchling was small, no bigger than a human arm. Its scales were dull, not yet hardened. One wing was torn, burned by cold and metal. The baby's chest rose and fell unevenly. Still alive, the alpha dragon inhaled sharply. He recognized the pattern of the scales, the shape of the horns, blood of his blood. The dragon mother let out a broken sound and took one step forward. Her legs trembled. Her eyes never left the hatchling. The alpha dragon raised his wing, stopping her. This was not over. His gaze returned to the human. "Why?" the dragon asked. The word did not come in sound. It came in pressure, in heat, in thought. The human's mind screamed as the voice crushed into it. Pain shot through his skull, but he forced himself to answer. "They were going to leave him," the human said, his voice shaking. The hunters thought he was dead. The dragon's eyes narrowed. Hunters. The word burned with hatred. "They took the others," the human continued. "Put them in cages. I followed them, but I couldn't fight them." The alpha dragon leaned closer. His breath burned the human skin. "Then why are you here?" the dragon demanded. The human looked down at the hatchling. His lips trembled. Because he didn't deserve to die alone. The words fell into the frozen air. Simple, weak, human, and yet the dragon pack felt it. Truth. The alpha dragon straightened slowly. The heat around him increased. Fire built deep in his chest, powerful and controlled. A test. The dragon opened his jaws. Flame formed, bright and deadly. The human did not scream. He did not run. He turned his body and wrapped himself around the hatchling, shielding it completely. The fire surged forward. Pain exploded across the human's back. His coat burned away. His skin blistered. The smell of smoke filled the air. Still, he did not move. He bit his lip until blood ran down his chin. The flame stopped inches from his heart. The alpha dragon cut the fire. The human collapsed forward into the snow, breathing hard, shaking from pain, but still holding a hatchling. Silence returned. The dragon pack stared. No human had ever done this. The dragon mother rushed forward now, ignoring the alpha's warning. She lowered her massive head, gently nudging the hatchling with her nose. The baby responded with a weak chirp. The mother released a cry so powerful it echoed to the mountains. The alpha dragon closed his eyes. Something ancient shifted inside him. He turned to the human, who lay barely conscious in the snow. "Why protect what is not yours?" the dragon asked. The human opened one eye. "Someone once protected me," he whispered, "when no one else would." The dragon studied him for a long moment. Then he spoke to the pack. "This human is not prey." The dragon stepped back. The alpha dragon lowered his head until it touched the snow beside the human. "He walks with us," the dragon declared. Far away, metal engines roared in the sky. The hunters were returning. The dragons lifted their heads. Fire answered fire. And for the first time in centuries, dragons would not face humanity alone. The human woke to heat, not the burning pain of fire, but a deep, steady warmth that wrapped around him like a shield. He opened his eyes slowly. Above him was not sky. It was stone, a massive cave ceiling stretched high overhead, glowing faintly with lines of natural fire running through crystal veins. The air smelled of smoke, ash, and something ancient. He tried to move. Pain answered. A low sound rumbled nearby. Do not struggle. The voice was heavy, deep, and not spoken with sound alone. It pressed into his mind, slow and careful. The alpha dragon sat near the cave entrance, his massive body blocking the wind. Outside, snow and storm crashed uselessly against stone. The human swallowed. His throat was dry. I'm alive, he asked weakly. For now, the dragon replied. The human let out a quiet breath and closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, he saw the hatchling. The baby dragon lay curled near his chest, wrapped in warm ashen cloth. Its breathing was stronger now. Its small tail twitched. The human smiled faintly. That's good, he whispered. The alpha dragon watched him closely. No fear, no demand, only relief for another life. The dragon turned his gaze away, toward the depths of the cave. They will come again, the dragon said. The human nodded slowly. Yes, he said, they won't stop. The cave trembled slightly. Far above, something roared across the sky. Metal engines. The dragons heard it too. Wings shifted. Claws scraped stone. Firelight flared brighter along the walls. The alpha dragon stood. Hatchlings cannot run, he said. We must fight. The human forced himself to sit up, ignoring the pain tearing through his back. Then, don't fight like dragons, he said. The cave fell silent. Every eye turned to him. The alpha dragon's head lowered slowly. Explain, the dragon said. The human took a breath. They hunt you because they know your patterns, he said. You defend nests. You charge. You burn. The dragon's eyes narrowed. That is strength, the dragon said. It's also predictable, the human replied. A dangerous silence followed. One dragon growled low in his throat. The human continued before they could stop him. They use traps, sound weapons, chains. They don't fight fair. The alpha dragon stared at him for a long time. You are small, the dragon said. Weak. Yes, the human answered. That's why they never see us coming. The engines grew louder, closer. The alpha dragon turned toward the cave entrance. Shadows of ships passed across the snow outside. The human pushed himself fully upright now. I know they're ships, he said. They're weapons. They're blind spots. The alpha dragon looked back at him. You would fight them? The dragon asked. The human nodded once. They took your children, he said simply. And they won't stop until someone stops them. A low roar rolled through the cave. Not anger. Agreement. The alpha dragon lifted his head and roared in response. The cave shook. Dragons rose as one. Wings unfolded, scraping fire across stone. Heat surged. The alpha dragon turned to the human. You will guide, the dragon said. The human froze. Me, he asked. You see war the way we do not, the dragon replied. You think like them. The human looked at his burned hands, then at the hatchling. I'll do it, he said, but we do it my way. The dragons moved, not toward the sky, toward the mountain tunnels. The human pointed. They expect you above, he said. We come from below. The ships descended. Light scanned the snow. A voice crackled through the air. Thermal readings detected. Prepare containment nets. The ground beneath them cracked. Fire erupted upward. Dragons burst from the mountain sides, not the sky. Claws tore metal. Flames melted engines before weapons could fire. The human watched from the cave mouth, directing with simple hand signals. Left flank, he shouted. Blind spot. A dragon twisted midair and ripped the ship open. Screams echoed. The hunters panicked. This wasn't supposed to happen. Fire ruled the sky. One ship tried to flee. The Alpha Dragon rose like a living mountain and crashed into it, tearing it apart. The snow below burned black. Silence returned. The sky emptied. The dragons landed. Smoke rose. Victory. But the human's face remained dark. This was only a search team, he said. The real force will come. The Alpha Dragon stepped beside him. Then we will be ready, the dragon said. The hatchling chirped softly. The human placed a hand on the warm stone floor. For the first time in his life, he felt it, belonging, above the mountains, far beyond sight. Alarms rang in human space. Dragons had learned war, and they had chosen a side. The victory did not bring peace. Smoke still rose from the broken ship scattered across the snow, but the dragon pack did not celebrate. Dragons stood silent, wings folded, eyes fixed on the human. The human stared at the burning metal. This was not a hunt, he said quietly. This was a harvest. The Alpha Dragon turned toward him. Explain, the dragon said. The human walked slowly among the wreckage. His steps were uneven, pain still pulling at his body, but his mind was sharp. They don't come for revenge, he said. They come for profit. He pointed at a shattered ship. Inside, metal cages lay twisted and empty. One cage was small, too small for an adult dragon. A hatchling cage. The dragon mother let out a low cry. Her body trembled. They take them alive, the human continued. Hatchlings are rare, easy to control, easy to sell. The word sell burned through the air. The Alpha Dragon's claws dug into the ice. The ground cracked beneath him. Where? The dragon demanded. The human closed his eyes. I followed them once, he said. Not far enough. The dragons leaned closer. There's a station, the human said. Beyond the ice. Beyond this world. A deep growl rolled through the pack. The Alpha Dragon's wings spread wide. We go, he said. The human shook his head. Not like this. The dragons froze. They will expect fire, the human said. They will prepare for dragons. The Alpha Dragon studied him. What do you suggest, little guide? The dragon asked. The human lifted his head. We go quiet. Silence followed. The idea felt wrong to creatures born aflame. But the Alpha Dragon remembered the mountain ambush, the broken ships. Show us, the dragon said. The human led them back into the cave. Deep inside, beyond fire and crystal, lay something the dragons had ignored for centuries. Old tunnels, ancient paths carved before metal and sky. The human pointed upward. Your world touches theirs, he said. You just never use the doors. The dragons felt it. Thin places between worlds. The Alpha Dragon made his choice. We become shadows, he said. Hours later, far above the frozen planet, a massive station drifted in orbit. Cold metal. Bright lights. Inside, humans moved freely. They laughed. They counted credits. Cages lined the walls. Dragon hatchlings lay inside, weak and silent. Next shipment leaves soon, one hunter said. Buyers are paying triple. A warning light blinked, then went dark. The station shook. What was that? Someone asked. Fire did not come. Darkness did. The human moved through the station's lower levels, wearing stolen armor. His face was calm, focused. He whispered into a small device. Now! The walls trembled. From the shadows, claws tore through metal. Not roaring, not screaming. Hunting. A dragon's head pushed through a broken corridor, eyes glowing softly. He moved slowly, carefully. Humans panicked. Dragons inside the station. Alarm screamed. The human ran toward the cages. He ripped open the first lock, then the next. Small dragons lifted their heads. They recognized him, not his face, his smell, warmth. One by one, the hatchlings cried out. The sound echoed through the station. The Alpha Dragon broke through the central hall. Fire exploded outward, controlled and precise. Guards dropped weapons and ran. This isn't possible, someone screamed. The Alpha Dragon roared. It is now. The human reached the last cage. Inside was a small dragon with dull scales and frightened eyes. The cage door would not open. Power surged. The station's gravity failed. The human floated. He slammed the emergency release with his burned hand. The door burst open. The hatchling leapt into his arms. The station shook violently. "Evacuate!" alarms blared. Dragons carried the hatchlings through torn holes into open space. The human followed the alpha dragon through a collapsing corridor. Behind them, fire consumed the station. Silence returned among the stars. Back on the frozen world, the dragons gathered. Mothers cried out as lost hatchlings returned. The human stood quietly at the edge, watching reunions. The alpha dragon approached him. "You cross fire and void for us," the dragon said. The human looked up. "I just did what was right." The alpha dragon lowered his head. "From this day," he said, "no dragon stands above you." Far away, human councils met in fear. Dragons were no longer legends. They were allies, and humanity had awakened something it could not cage again. The celebrations did not last long. The dragon mothers held their hatchlings close, wings wrapped around small, shaking bodies. Soft cries filled the cave, sounds of relief mixed with fear that had not yet faded. But the human did not smile. He stood apart, staring at the dark sky beyond the cave entrance. The alpha dragon noticed. "You sense danger," the dragon said. The human nodded slowly. "We hit them too hard," he replied. "Now they will hit back smarter." The word spread, unease through the pack. Far beyond the frozen world, alarms rang through human space. Screens lit up, voices shouted. They destroyed the station. Dragons boarded in vacuum. This breaks every containment rule. In a cold metal chamber, human leaders watched the final footage. Fire in zero gravity. Ships torn apart like toys. A single image froze on screen. A human standing among dragons. "Who is that?" one leader asked. Silence followed. "That," another said slowly, "is a traitor." Back in the dragon caves, the ground trembled lightly. The alpha dragon lifted his head. "They watch us," he said. "Yes," the human replied. "And they are scared." The dragons growled. Fear made humans dangerous. The human turned toward the alpha dragon. "They won't send hunters now," he said. "They'll send soldiers." The word meant little to dragons, but the tone did not. "They won't come to take hatchlings," the human continued. "They'll come to erase you." A low roar echoed to the cave. "Let them come," one dragon snarled. The human shook his head. "No," he said. "That's what they want." The alpha dragon narrowed his eyes. "You have another path," he said. The human took a breath. "They think you are monsters," he said. "We show them something worse." The dragons leaned in. Unity. The alpha dragon's flame flickered. The human explained. "Not all humans agree with this," he said. "Some hate what was done to you. Some will stand with us, if they are brave enough. And if they are not," the dragon asked. The human's voice hardened. "Then they will watch history change without them." That night, the human sent a signal, not a threat, a message, across human systems. Screens flickered. The image showed dragons, not burning cities, not roaring in rage, but standing still. Hatchlings rested safely beneath massive wings. Then the human stepped forward. His face was burned, his clothes torn, his eyes steady. "We are not your enemies," he said, "but we will not be hunted again." The message cut out. Human space exploded with reaction. "They can talk. He's one of us. He's standing with them." Fear turned into confusion. Confusion turned into doubt. Back in the caves, the human collapsed. The effort had drained him. The alpha dragon caught him before he hit the ground. "You weaken yourself for words," the dragon said. "Words start wars," the human whispered, "and end them." The dragon carried him deeper into the cave. Outside, the sky burned. Human fleets gathered. This time, they came ready. Black ships, no markings, no signals. The alpha dragon felt it. War. The human woke to the sound of wings. "Too soon," he muttered. The Alpha Dragon lowered his head. They approached from all sides, the dragon said. They will not speak. The human forced himself upright. Then we speak first, he said. The dragons gathered at the mountain edge. The human stood before them. If they cross this line, he said, pointing at the sky, we do not chase. We do not destroy cities. The dragons growled. We end fleets, he finished. Only fleets. The Alpha Dragon nodded once. The ships entered the atmosphere. Weapons powered up. The human raised his hand. Now. The sky changed. Human ships suddenly lost power. Systems failed. Lights died. Panic spread. What's happening? From the shadows, dragons rose, not roaring, not attacking, just watching. One ship fired blindly. The Alpha Dragon struck it down in a single blow. The rest froze. The human's voice came through their broken channels. Leave, he said calmly, or fall. The fleets turned. They fled. Silence returned. The dragons did not cheer. They understood. The world had changed. The Alpha Dragon looked at the human. You are no longer just human, he said. The human looked back. And you are no longer just dragons. Far away, human leaders whispered a new word. Alliance. And fear took a different shape. Peace never came quietly. It came wrapped in silence, sharp and waiting. The dragon pack stayed alert after the human fleets retreated. No victory songs filled the mountains. No flames marked the sky. Every dragon felt it. Humans did not give up. The human guide stood at the cave entrance, staring into the distance. His body was weak, but his mind would not rest. They're planning something, he said. The Alpha Dragon stood beside him. Yes, the dragon replied. They are too quiet. Deep in human space. That silence broke. Not with fleets. With lies. A private signal cut through space, targeted and hidden. It did not reach the dragons. It reached the human. A small device vibrated against his chest. He froze. The message opened. We know where you are. We know who you stand with. Come alone. The human closed his eyes. They found you, the Alpha Dragon said, feeling the shift in his thoughts. Yes, the human answered. And they're not asking. The dragon's wings spread. We burn them. The dragon growled. The human shook his head. That's what they want, he said. They want war. Total war. The dragon studied him. They will kill you, the dragon said. The human smiled faintly. Not if I go first. Before the dragons could stop him, the human stepped away from the cave. Snow swallowed his footprints as he walked into the storm. The Alpha Dragon roared. Wings thundered. But the human raised a hand. Trust me, he said softly. Hours later, a small human ship landed in the ice fields. The human entered alone. The door sealed behind him. Inside, faces waited. Cold, clean, powerful. You've caused chaos, a woman said from the shadows. Billions of credits lost. The human met her gaze. You were selling children, he replied. Silence. You belong to us, another voice said. You were born human. I chose better, the human answered. A weapon was raised. The human did not resist. Chains closed around him. Back in the mountains, the dragons felt it. Pain. Loss. The Alpha Dragon howled, a sound that cracked glaciers. They took him, the dragon mother cried. The pack gathered, restless and burning. We go now, a dragon roared. The Alpha Dragon hesitated. He remembered the human's words. Trust me, hours passed. Then the sky burned red, not from fire, from signal flares. Across human systems, emergency messages appeared. A human voice echoed through channels. The same human, bruised, chained, still standing. They lied to you, he said calmly. About dragons, about profit, about me. Guards shouted, weapons fired. The signal cut, but not before something else happened. Every cage log, every sale record, every hidden contract. Released. Human worlds erupted. Protests filled streets. Soldiers questioned orders. Back on the frozen world, the Alpha Dragon felt it. Hope. Then the signal returned. The human collapsed to his knees. A gun was pressed to his head. "You think this saves you?" the woman hissed. "No," the human replied. "It saves them." A sudden explosion rocked the ship. Fire tore through metal. A dragon claw punched through the hull. The Alpha Dragon had arrived. Dragons flooded the sky. Human ships panicked. Dragons breached containment. The Alpha Dragon ripped the ship open and reached inside. He found the human. Broken, bleeding, alive. The dragon cradled him carefully. "You broke your promise," the dragon said. The human coughed, smiling weakly. "I came back," he whispered. They escaped into the storm as the ship burned. Back in the caves, the human lay unconscious for days. The hatchlings gathered near him. When he finally woke, the Alpha Dragon stood waiting. "You could have died," the dragon said. "Yes," the human replied. "But now they know." The dragon lowered his head. "You are no longer a bridge," he said. "What am I then?" the human asked. The dragon's voice was heavy with respect. "You are the line they will not cross." Far away, human leaders watched riots burn. They spoke a new title, the Human of Dragons. And for the first time in history, both species understood the cost of standing together. The snow fell again. Soft, quiet. It covered old scars in the ice, broken metal, and blackened stone. The frozen mountains looked peaceful, as if war had never touched them. But the dragons remembered. They stood on the high ridge, watching the horizon. Hatchlings played near the cave mouth, small wings flapping, tiny flames sparking the cold air. And among them walked a human. Slower now, thinner, but still standing. The human had changed, not just in body, but in presence. Dragons moved aside when he passed, not out of fear but respect. Hatchlings followed him, curious and unafraid. The Alpha Dragon watched him closely. "You feel it," the dragon said. "Yes," the human replied. "They're coming." Far beyond the frozen world, something ancient stirred. Not human, not dragon. The ones who once watched from the dark between stars had noticed the noise. The broken fleets, the alliance, the defiance. They did not like balance. They liked control. A shadow crossed the sky. Not ships. Something worse. The air itself trembled. The dragons felt it deep in their bones. "This enemy does not fear fire," the Alpha Dragon said. The human nodded. "They fear unity." The sky split open. A massive structure emerged, silent, black, and endless. It blocked the stars. A voice echoed across the world. "You were tools," it said. "Both of you." The ground shook as smaller constructs fell from the sky, draining heat, draining energy. Dragons roared. Fire failed. The human stepped forward. "Then you made a mistake," he said calmly. The Alpha Dragon turned. "This is where you step back," the dragon said. The human smiled sadly. "I can't." Before anyone could stop him, the human walked into the falling snow. The machines targeted him instantly. Energy wrapped around his body. Pain hit like lightning. The dragon screamed. But the human stood. He raised a small device. Old, broken, forgotten. Human tech. Dragon crystal. "Hope. I was never meant to rule," the human said through the pain. "Only to choose." He activated the device. The world changed. Dragons felt it first. Their fire burned brighter, not hotter, but deeper. It did not destroy. It unmade. The machine screamed. For the first time, the enemy felt fear. The Alpha Dragon roared and took to the sky. All dragons followed. Fire and light tore through the darkness. The massive structure cracked. The enemy voice faltered. This was not calculated. The human collapsed. The device shattered. The sky healed. Silence returned. Dragons landed hard, searching. They found the human lying in the snow. Still, too still. The Alpha Dragon lowered his massive head. "No," the dragon whispered. The hatchlings cried. The snow fell heavier, as if the world mourned with them. Then, a breath. Weak. The human coughed. Eyes opened. The dragons froze. The human looked up and smiled. Told you, he whispered. I came back. The alpha dragon let out a sound that shook the mountains. Not rage, not victory. Relief. Years passed. The frozen world changed. Not cities. Not towers. Paths. Human ships came, but landed far away. Weapons stayed cold. Humans came to learn. Dragons watched. The human grew older. His hair turned white. His steps slowed. One day, he walked to the same ridge where it all began. The alpha dragon joined him. You will not live forever, the dragon said. No, the human replied. But stories do. The dragon bowed his head. When snow falls, the dragon said, we will remember you. The human smiled. When fire rises, he said, humans will remember you. The snow fell gently, and across worlds the legend spread of the day dragons cried, of the human who walked into the storm, of the moment fire chose a side. And whenever snow touched the ground, it remembered